The lights went out under the humid skies of Buriram, and all eyes were fixed on one man, Toprak Razgatlioglu. The 2025 World Superbike champion had finally arrived in MotoGP, stepping onto the grandest stage of two-wheel racing with the weight of expectation on his shoulders. Yet instead of fireworks, his debut delivered frustration, confusion, and a simmering tension that quickly rippled through the paddock. By the checkered flag of the Thailand sprint, the Turkish star was not celebrating a breakthrough performance. He was searching for answers. A 20th place finish just ahead of test rider Michel Pirot was not the script anyone had imagined for a rider of Toprak's caliber. What unfolded over 13 laps at the Chang International Circuit was more than just a difficult first outing. It was a stark revelation of deeper technical issues brewing beneath the surface. And as Toprak spoke post-race, his tone was unmistakable. This was not the voice of a rookie overwhelmed by MotoGP machinery. It was the voice of a champion demanding clarity and exposing what he described as a critical braking issue that left him battling his own bike rather than his rivals. Representing Pramac Racing in partnership with Yamaha Motor Racing, Toprak began his maiden MotoGP campaign at the Thailand Grand Prix with cautious optimism. The sprint race at the Chang International Circuit in Buriram marked a historic milestone for the 29-year-old. In the opening laps, the performance wasn't disastrous. In fact, there were encouraging signs. Toprak latched onto the rear wheel of Jack Miller, shadowing the experienced Australian for much of the race. His rhythm was tidy, controlled, and intelligent. Hallmarks of the aggressive yet calculated rider fans had come to admire in WorldSBK. Initially, it wasn't bad, especially considering we are just starting, Toprak explained. When we arrived at turn 1, I saw Jack braking slightly earlier. That moment, however, would prove pivotal. MotoGP's carbon braking systems are vastly different from the steel brakes used in WorldSBK, requiring specific temperatures to operate at peak performance. For Toprak, that transition appears far from complete. I immediately used the brake because I didn't know whether the carbon brake was hot or not, he admitted. This uncertainty triggered a chain reaction. On the very first lap, he nearly crashed under braking into turn 1. The front locked twice, forcing him wide. It was an early warning sign, one he could not ignore. From there, the discomfort grew. Toprak pointed specifically to engine braking behavior in the final corner. A subtle yet crucial element of MotoGP bike dynamics. Since the beginning, I had a problem with engine braking in the last corner, he said. Normally we use the same line, but I felt a difference there. For a rider renowned for his extraordinary braking finesse. Arguably one of the best late brakers in modern motorcycle racing, such instability is particularly damaging. Braking is Toprak's weapon. If that weapon misfires, the entire performance collapses. Despite the issues, Toprak maintained composure and stayed with Miller. He studied where the KTM rider was stronger and identified sectors where he himself could respond. But with 3 laps remaining, instinct took over. To attack, I needed to get closer, he explained. I tried braking a little later. Everything was perfect until I leaned. Then came the moment of truth. I felt the first lock. When I leaned more, the rear came back very quickly and I lost the front. The result was a crash at the final corner on lap 11. Although he remounted and crossed the line in 20th position, the damage was already done. His MotoGP debut was officially blemished. Toprak's frustration did not exist in isolation. The bigger picture for Yamaha Motor Racing paints a worrying portrait. No Yamaha rider scored a single point in the sprint race. The best result came from Miller in 15th, finishing over 13 seconds behind race winner Pedro Acosta. That gap is not merely statistical. It is symbolic. While Acosta continues to demonstrate the explosive competitiveness of KTM machinery, Yamaha appear to be grappling with fundamental performance deficits. The YZR-M11 has long been praised for corner speed and balance, but in the modern aero and ride height era of MotoGP, braking stability and rear traction under acceleration are decisive. Toprak's complaints about engine braking instability suggest underlying calibration or electronics challenges, issues that cannot be solved overnight. There are two possible interpretations of this situation. The first is adaptation. Transitioning from superbike to MotoGP is notoriously complex. The Michelin tyres, carbon brakes, ride height devices, and advanced electronics represent a different universe. Riders often require months, sometimes a full season, to unlock their true pace. The second interpretation is more concerning. If Toprak, one of the most naturally gifted braking specialists in world motorcycle racing, cannot find confidence on the M1's front end, it raises questions about Yamaha's current technical platform. Braking instability, inconsistent engine braking, and rear rebound behavior point toward either setup misalignment or a broader aerodynamic balance issue under deceleration. And here lies the tension within the paddock. Toprak is not a development rider by nature. He is a racer, a champion. His patience will have limits. Yamaha, meanwhile, are rebuilding after several challenging seasons. Expectations internally may focus on long-term development, but externally, the pressure is immediate. The phrase tension mounting is not exaggeration. When a high-profile debutant publicly reveals mechanical shortcomings after his very first sprint, it inevitably intensifies scrutiny. Was this simply first-race nerves and unfamiliar hardware? Or is this the early sign of a deeper technical crisis within Yamaha's MotoGP project? What is clear is that Toprak Razgatlioglu's MotoGP story has begun not with celebration, but with confrontation between rider and machine, between expectation and reality. The Grand Prix on Sunday now carries even greater weight. For Toprak, it is a chance to reset and prove that his talent translates to the prototype world. For Yamaha, it is an opportunity to demonstrate that solutions are already in motion. One thing is certain, the paddock will be watching closely. Sunday's Grand Prix now becomes more than just another race on the calendar. It is an early crossroads in Toprak's MotoGP journey. The data gathered from the sprint will be pored over in forensic detail overnight, with Yamaha's engineers under immediate pressure to deliver a solution that restores confidence under braking. In MotoGP, belief in the front end is everything. Without it, even the most gifted rider is reduced to survival mode.